Right now on WHAS11 News at noon, what started out as a narcotics investigation turns into a full-blown Homeland Security operation out of Louisville. The drugs and guns taken off our city streets. Plus, day 5 inside the Crystal Rogers murder trial, and a canine handler takes the stand. What his dog, trained in search and recovery, alerted detectives to in one particular white Buick. And later, the handful of laws taking effect in Indiana today, from changes in your student curriculum to the cigarette tax. Thanks so much for joining us here at noon on this Tuesday. I'm Brooke Hash. A major drug trafficking and money laundering case has been revealed here in Louisville, with the U.S. Attorney's Office saying 22 people total are now facing federal charges. Now, those are people the Drug Enforcement Agency said have been thriving on people's pain. Agents in charge said the criminal activity centered around methamphetamine, fentanyl, and firearms being transported to Louisville from California, dating back to April of last year until just a few months ago. In all, agents seized 60 pounds of meth, 88 pounds of fentanyl disguised as legitimate pharmaceuticals, and 120 firearms, mainly of which were stolen. We are told key members of several gangs out of California were taken into custody after exchanging stolen firearms for those narcotics here in Louisville. Many wanted for murder and assault. If convicted, the minimum sentence is 10 years in federal prison.
Let these indictments be a warning to anyone in Louisville that wishes to poison our streets. We're coming. To trigger pullers who have no regard for human life, we're coming. And to gang members scaring innocent people from downtown Louisville, we're coming.
Now, this indictment is the outcome of the new Homeland Security Task Force, which is a partnership with multiple agencies, from the FBI, ATF, IRS, and USPS to KSP, U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, along with here locally, LMPD. Well, today, Indiana Governor Mike Bronn was at the Floyd County YMCA in New Albany, signing a bill that emphasizes community-based care options for our older Hoosiers and individuals with disabilities. That bill, House Enrolled Act 1391, enhances the state's CHOICE program, which helps elderly and disabled Hoosiers maintain their independence while avoiding institutionalization and receiving at-home care. Officials said the bill reaffirms the state's commitment to strengthening preventative, cost-effective, and community-based care. One goal of the bill is to reduce long-term Medicaid enrollment for Hoosiers.
Here's a bill that's going to give flexibility in terms of how you use Medicaid. You can see the whole discussion that's going on out east where I used to work. A lot of these problems are going to be solved, I think, state by state. So here we had legislators put a lot of time and effort into it. And I've been doing these bills are already signed and in motion. This is just to put emphasis on the ones that have been important.
Now, other changes to Indiana's current system featured in this bill include the removal of barriers preventing local providers from delivering the CHOICE services unless they are Medicaid certified. It also helps as well for those increased statewide service access, especially in rural areas with limited provider networks. Right now, we are back in Bowling Green for day 5 in the trial of Brooks Houck and Joseph Lawson, both charged in the disappearance of Bardstown mother of 5, Crystal Rogers. Today in court, the prosecutor's next witness, a canine handler who assists with search, rescue, and recovery operations. He testified that his dog back in May of 2016, named Ranger, who is trained to find bodies, alerted a detective to the back of a white Buick in a lot of cars, at least 10 deep. The handler said even though Rogers had already been missing for over a year, that would not have impacted his dog's ability. We'll get to whose car that was in just a moment. But first, on Monday, multiple witnesses gave testimony, some so graphic, members of Rogers' family left the courtroom. Something speculated about for years, a former Brooks Houck employee who claimed he overheard Joseph Lawson saying he would pull out her teeth and let the hogs do the rest. And then there was a lot of testimony from 2 raccoon hunters who said they saw a white Buick near Crystal's car on the Bluegrass Parkway and again on the Houck family farm. Nick Houck and their grandmother had white Buicks at the time. Detective Jamie Brooks with the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office in Louisville said when we got there, the white Buick was sold. Well, he testified that Houck's grandmother had sold the car just days before, but investigators were able to seize that car from a dealership to look for evidence. And that's where they found several hairs in the trunk, one with similar properties to strands found on Crystal Rogers' hairbrush. However, in cross-examination, the defense confirmed that strand came back from the FBI testing lab with no DNA profile. As we have mentioned before, the jurors in this trial are faced with circumstantial evidence. No body, no confession. They've been asked to use their common sense. Our Shane McAllister and Alexander Goldberg are in the courtroom today sharing updates throughout the afternoon. So turn to the WHAS 11 Plus app at 1 o'clock for that midday update. LMPD just arrested a second person in connection to a deadly shooting near U of L's campus. Dakota Compton was served the arrest warrant while in a court hearing. The other suspect, Brendan Spencer, was already arrested Friday. The shooting happened in early May on University Boulevard, where a man died. Another woman was hurt. Both men here charged with complicity to murder are due back in court on July 16th. Fire officials investigating after a massive fire destroyed two family-owned businesses in Henry County. The county judge executive said it broke out on Johnson and Company flooring in Eminence. An official said the building next door, Gigi's Salon, both of those now total losses and a hard hit for this community. Fortunately, no one was hurt. It is 12:05 here on this Tuesday, and we are looking at a pretty overcast day, hoping that might help with the temperatures. Matt Breland?
It will help, Brooke.
Okay.
Yeah, we are finally seeing some better weather in the forecast in terms of temperatures. Here's how things look right now on satellite and radar. These rain showers are really going to help us out as we go into the next upcoming hours. This is all part of a front that's continuing to pass through the Ohio Valley, delivering some of these scattered showers across portions of Kentuckiana near Bardstown, Springfield, Hodgenville. You folks are seeing some of those scattered showers continuing for your afternoon. A bit further towards the south, we're seeing some of those make their way closer towards Mumfordville as well. It's all connected to this small front that's continuing to pass through the Ohio Valley. As we head into the later parts of the afternoon, we will start seeing some less humid air rush its way into Kentuckiana. That's really going to improve how it feels outside for the next upcoming days. As of right now, temperatures are at 82 degrees, so still a bit warm out there. And those passing clouds still continuing to last with us. Winds out of the northwest at 6 miles per hour. And that's just going to improve our conditions as we head later on into the day. So far, temperatures are ranging in between the upper 70s and lower 80s. We'll still track a few scattered showers throughout the first few hours of our afternoon, but into the later parts of the day, closer towards 5 p.m. That's whenever I'm expecting us to see more sunshine lasting into the evening hours, staying quiet and dry into our Wednesday morning. We have those temperatures that will be into the upper 60s. And then we're headed into another warm up throughout Wednesday afternoon, but we have a less humidity that will be in the air, allowing things to feel much more tolerable. We'll have all the details about that forecast, including a look at your 4th of July weather, coming up here in just a few short minutes. Brooke?
All right, Matt, thank you. Today is Dr. Marty Polio's last day on the job as superintendent of JCPS. He is set to take a next job as president of Ivy Tech Community College in Indiana. He announced his departure last September after nearly 3 decades with Kentucky's largest school district. Polio was named superintendent in 2017 and guided JCPS through a number of challenging times like the pandemic and that 2023 bus transportation meltdown. He also oversaw major construction projects and new school openings. He launched the Academies of Louisville program, opened the W.E.B. Du Bois Academy, and secured nearly $100 million in major donations to the district, including the Yum Brand's recent headquarters and the former Molina site off Broadway. His successor, Brian Yearwood's contract also begins today. Higher toll rates begin today for drivers crossing the bridges between Louisville and southern Indiana. The rates will increase by 2.5% thanks to a bi-state agreement. If you have a transponder and a prepaid account, you'll be paying $2.68 per crossing. Without that, you are looking at a new standard toll twice that price of $5.36. Larger trucks could pay up to $16.10, depending on their size. Officials said the annual adjustment helps cover bridge operations and maintenance costs. And that transponder, just so you know, it is free to get, no strings attached. Copper wire thefts are keeping Louisville's interstates dark, but today the mayor said the new infrastructure task force is making progress. Mayor Craig Greenberg announced a new reward for tips. He said thieves have caused millions of dollars worth of damage, but new technology is being deployed that alerts police when something like a light pole is getting tampered with. This, along with new cameras in key locations, have helped LMPD make multiple arrests in wire theft cases. And now, thanks to new legislation, that charge is a felony. The public can also get paid for tips that lead to arrests.
Qualified tips can get up to a $5,000 reward. And you'll be supporting our work to make your neighborhood safer, your neighborhood stronger, and your neighborhood healthier. So please, if you see something, say something and let us know.
If you do know something about copper wire theft in the city, you can call the tip line. That number is 502-582-CLUE.